Good morning. Celebrating the promulgation of Hangul, various events around the country are set to be held on this public holiday, with some already underway. Ebola death. The first man diagnosed with Ebola in the United States is pronounced dead following 11 days of isolation. The 7th Korea Cup International Yacht Race, first held in 2008, the finest test their skills on the East Sea. Divided over 60 years ago and separated by the demilitarized zone. Join us on a visit to the area on Korea Today, Thursday, October 9th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday morning. I'm Kim Young alongside Kim Min-jung and Uljin Ju.
Good morning. Today is the 568th Hangul Proclamation Day, when the Joseon Dynasty's 4th king, King Sejong, promulgated the Korean alphabet so that to make it easier for common people to read and write.
That's right. It's a national holiday here in Korea. It wasn't a national holiday, but now it is. And you have to spend today thinking about the greatness of Hangul. And many linguists and also scientists have really praise the beauty of Hangul and how scientific it is, and not just as a language, but as a design. It's a popular design, Hangul, right? Appearing on many dresses even, and many different designs also.
You know, I remember this time, exact same time last year, when people were a little bit confused because it wasn't marked as a red national holiday on the calendar. So they were confused because last year was when it was reenacted as a national holiday. So now we're sure of that. Make sure you check out some of these festivities that are going around town, and we'll be telling you about that. That is our top headline for this morning. The 568th year since Hangul was invented, and Korea observes a national holiday with various events to be held today to mark the promulgation of Korea's unique system of writing. The main Hangul Day ceremony will be held at the Sejong Center for Performing Arts in Central Seoul on Thursday morning, with some 3,000 government dignitaries, foreign diplomats, and leaders of Hangul-related organizations attending. Cultural events nationwide are scheduled for this, with some already underway. At Gwanghwamun Square, at a Hangul festival with various exhibits, performances, and contests for foreigners is ongoing and scheduled to run until Friday, while the National Hangul Museum opens its doors to the public today, with 5 Seoul city buses carrying Hangul designs to begin running for about a month. Festivities around the nation will be held in commemoration of Hangul, but stretching beyond borders, events are also planned in cities around the United States, such as Los Angeles, New York, and Washington.
Seoul's foreign ministry says the revised defense guidelines between the United States and Japan should be pursued in a way that contributes to peace and security in the Northeast Asian region. The foreign ministry reaffirmed its stance on Wednesday that Japan should not, in any circumstances, launch military activities on the Korean peninsula, including exercising the right to collective self-defense without South Korea's consent or request. This follows the announcement of an interim report by Washington and Tokyo that the two allies will expand the scope of their security partnership in line with Japan's move to increase the role of its military. China had immediately reacted, saying the U.S.-Japan alliance should not exceed its bilateral scope nor harm the interests of third parties. Seoul's foreign ministry added the Korean government plans to closely watch the progress of the revision to be adopted later this year and will express additional opinions when needed.
The Korean government has set out on additional stimulus measures in the next few months due to external factors pressing down on the domestic economy, in particular fears of an interest rate hike in the U.S. During an economic ministers meeting in Seoul on Wednesday, Finance Minister Cheorwon announced that the government will be injecting an additional 5 trillion won, or $4.6 billion to its economic stimulus spending for the second half of this year, bringing the total spending to 31 trillion won. Now, this is part of the 41 trillion won stimulus measures announced in July after Che took office. The initial spending was to revive the slumping domestic economy and aftermath of the Cheorwon ferry disaster. And while the economy seemingly has pulled out of the post-Cheorwon dip, unexpected factors such as the appreciation of the U.S. dollar versus the won and the further depreciation of the yen have come into play.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, you know by now it is indeed Hangul Proclamation Day here in Korea, and a variety of celebratory events are taking place to mark this special occasion. Now, we'll begin with one of them taking place over on Joseonilbo, and we'll take a look at the front page image. And the title of the picture says, foreigners attending King's Haejong Institute celebrate Hangul Proclamation Day. So foreign students studying the Korean language at an institute called King's Haejong Institute, or Sejonghakdang, located all over the world in 47 nations, have been invited to Korea by the Culture Ministry to celebrate the 568th anniversary of the invention of the Korean alphabet. Here they are posing in front of the statue of King's Haejong at Gwanghwamun Square in downtown Seoul. Yesterday, 124 students from around the globe have gathered together for this Hangul festival wearing their national traditional costumes. And turning to another image here on Gyeongyang Shinmun now. We'll take a look at this. It's called Total Lunar Eclipse, Transformations of the Blood Moon. Now, I don't know if you were able to catch a glimpse of the so-called blood moon last night, but many sky watchers here in Korea enjoyed viewing the eclipse from the ground, seeing the moon turn a coppery shade of red during totality. And in this image, you're seeing yesterday's night sky starting from 6:14 p.m. When the moon started moving into Earth's dark shadow and then transforming through the different phases of the eclipse until 9:34 p.m. Now, these shots here of the moon were taken every 20 to 30 minutes and put together for this imagery. And now going over to Joseonilbo for a local headline here on the side. And this one is about the Korean Air Force. Now, the header says, U.S. against Korean Air Force Black Eagles going to Air Show China. So the 10th China International Aviation and Aerospace Exhibition, or namely Air Show China, is to take place in Zhuhai, China next month. And the Korean Air Force Black Eagles aerobatic team has been invited to fly aerobatics at this air show. If we do take a look at the sub-headlines, the Korean Air Force Eagles is equipped with T-50 trainers, but apparently the U.S. is trying to put on the brakes against the Korean team participating in this event because the trainers have been made with the help of U.S. technology, and thus the U.S. fears its technology may be leaked to the Chinese. Now, in order to export the T-50 trainers for any event, Korea must receive the approval of the U.S. side, and also when it's trying to fly the T-50, it has to get the consent from the U.S. side. And let's go on to our last story on the Mail Business newspaper for this headline here. This is called World Economy Faced with Complex Surge of Financial Shocks. If we take a look at this bold sub-headline, you heard yesterday here on the show, the International Monetary Fund downgraded its global GDP outlook for this year, cautioning for one of the worst financial scenarios to come. Now, in fact, the IMF lowered its global GDP growth forecast for the third time this year to 3.3% from 3.4%. And in particular, the Eurozone bore the brunt of this change. The bloc is now seen growing just 0.8% this year and hypothetically suffering from deflation, which is signaling a potential for a triple-dip recession in the Eurozone. And that was a look at newspaper headlines for this Thursday. Now following are the stock numbers from Wednesday.
Now, more grim developments in the Ebola outbreak. The first person to be diagnosed with the deadly virus in the United States has died. We'll get a check on this story and other global news with our Eunice Kim, who's standing by at the news center. Over to you, Eunice.
Thank you, Min-jung. Despite 11 days of treatment under isolation at a Dallas, Texas hospital, Thomas Eric Duncan was pronounced dead Wednesday morning local time by hospital staff. The 42-year-old was given an experimental antiviral drug called brincidofovir that had appeared promising in tube studies but not effective in pulling Duncan out of a state of critical condition. He had begun to show symptoms of fever, headache, and abdominal pain a few days after arriving in Dallas from Liberia. The United States government says it will add an extra layer of screening at 5 U.S. airports, which it says cover 94% of the traffic from Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea, which is, of course, the 3 West African countries most ravaged by Ebola. The screening will begin this weekend at New York's JFK Airport and expanded to international airports at Newark, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Atlanta. Now, in Spain, hospital workers staged a protest against what they saw as poor planning that led to one of their colleagues, nursing assistant Teresa Romero, being infected by Ebola while helping treat a priest who had the virus. Another impassioned protest was held outside of Romero's home. Animal rights activists tried to block police from carrying out the nursing assistant's dog that authorities said was euthanized in the evening for fear of it also having contracted Ebola. 2 Americans and a German have won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry this year for their achievements in realizing super-resolved fluorescence microscopy. Now, Sweden's Nobel Prize Foundation announced that the prize and $1.1 million will jointly be awarded to Eric Bedzig of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, Stanford University's William Warner, and Stefan Hell, a director at the Max Planck Institute in Germany. The 3 laureates' work laid the foundations to an ultra-powerful microscope, enabling such things as the study of molecular processes in real time, revolutionizing research into disease and drug design. And now to Syria. Fierce fighting by Kurdish forces on the ground and coalition airstrikes in the air appears to have pushed Islamic State militants out of the strategically significant border town of Kobani for now. A senior official in Kobani told reporters IS militants were now outside the entrances of the town after fierce shelling and bombardment triggered the biggest retreat since their entry into the city. Just a couple of days earlier, the jihadists had planted their signature black flags in the eastern district as well as a nearby hill. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights confirmed that IS fighters had withdrawn from several areas they had earlier controlled. Kurdish fighters have been staving off IS attacks for some 3 weeks now. Control of the border town would give the jihadists control over a long stretch of the Syrian-Turkish border that has served as a primary route for foreign fighters to get into Syria. And with that, we'll wrap your look at the global headlines we are following this morning.
And as we mentioned at the top of the hour, today marks the 568th Hangul Proclamation Day. Now, the Korean alphabet has long been recognized by renowned scholars around the globe for its very creative and scientific way of writing. And Hangul is in fact the world's only alphabet of which its creator, the exact proclamation date, and principle of creation are known. So today we're going to look into the uniqueness and beauty of Hangul and how Korea is celebrating this day.
Hangul is a writing system made up of 14 consonants and 10 vowels. It's easy to read and was created after a thorough examination of the phonological structure of the Korean language. In fact, Hunmin Jeongum, a primer for the Hangul script, was registered as a UNESCO Memory of the World in 1997. The appreciation and celebration of Hangul takes many forms, and one in particular has been catching people's attention.
Hangul can be seen all along this road, which is called Gangwon-do.
It's a road located at Jeongno-gu district in Seoul that has been decorated with sculptures of all sizes and shapes. And the theme of all these pieces is Hangul.
When we laugh, we don't frown, do we? No, we smile instead. That's why this is titled Soul Smile. The An character for 안녕하세요 is not completely written out. The piece depicts only the first consonant.
These sculptures are not made just to be looked at. Unlike a lot of art around us, the Hangul sculptures are made as interactive pieces that people can touch, and there are even guided tours around Gaonggil Road, where the guides will tell you the history and background of the pieces. It's engaging, not just for adults, but children as well.
I realize I have so much more to learn about Hangul, and the Hangul sculptures here are really quite beautiful. Everything I saw today has made my heart grow fonder for Hangul.
Here there are exhibitions about Hangul and the Joseon Dynasty King Sejong, who created Hangul. There are a lot of easy, fun activities available here for visitors who are interested in learning more about Hangul. The activities are also a way for international visitors to try their hand at a bit of Hangul.
We try to learn Hangul. We can read a little bit. 감사합니다 and 안녕하세요.
And when you're done, you can share your Hangul artwork with others by adding it to this exhibit. Insadong is a neighborhood in downtown Seoul and a top tourist location, but despite all the international foot traffic, everything is written in Korean characters, even the signs. Hangul is also used in designs for many of the wares sold at Insadong. Yes, they're hot picks for foreign tourists, but the items designed with various Korean characters are quite a hit with Koreans as well.
It's different from what I usually carry. It's pretty and unique. These feel like they're ours, really ours. I like that.
The beauty of Hangul is also shared with the world with help from professionals in Korea's fashion industry. A designer at Dongdok Women's University is one such individual who incorporates the vowels and consonants of Hangul as elegant designs for her clothing.
Hangul has become very distorted nowadays. We use so many abbreviations, and that is unfortunate because Hangul is so beautiful. This fashion show is for the promotion of Hangul for better use of it and better understanding.
Her aesthetic isn't restricted just to traditional wear, but the Hangul designs are given a chic edge and focus towards modern fashion, which she hopes will promote Hangul further.
The beauty of Hangul is important, but people don't seem to know how precious that is, and I hope they will realize that.
A writing system that is unlike any other and recognized worldwide as such, Hangul continues to grow and develop with modern times. Take a moment to celebrate it with us today on Hangul Proclamation Day.
Kanadara mabasa aja chakatapaha. And that is the Korean alphabet. That's the basis of what we are celebrating today on this National Hangul Day. And since 2011, the National Hangul Museum has been under construction. And after nearly 3 years of construction activities, it has opened its doors in celebration of this year's Hangul Day. And our Im Yoon-hee joins us with more on that. Good morning.
Good morning. That was very impressive. Hangul is a language that you're very impressive. Your recitation.
You're supposed to know the alphabet.
I know, but that was pretty fast. But anyway,
you.
Hangul is a language that's easier to read, right, than recite like that. So, like you heard earlier in the show, today is Hangul Day, and it's a language that's considered, it's an alphabet that's considered scientific and easy to learn. And so, adjacent to the National Museum here in Seoul, they opened another museum dedicated solely to the Korean alphabet. So, take a look.
This Hangul Day marks the 568th anniversary of the proclamation of the script. And to celebrate, the National Hangul Museum will finally open its doors to the public. Inside the exhibition halls are precious historical documents preserving the history of Hangul, such as authentic letters written by King Jeongjo. and the Hunmin Jeongum, which describes the new and creative script for the Korean language.
This exhibition is about showing the characters that we use as on a daily basis, the characters that are like tools handed down to us that are written on things surrounding our lives.
And for the little ones, a children's zone has been created to teach some of our younger citizens about Hangul and the history behind the Korean alphabet.
Hangul is not only simple and easy to understand, but also it contributes to the arts and culture of Korea. With an inexhaustible combination of characters, the potential is endless.
The exhibition also contains many modern and contemporary art interpretations, all honoring the Korean alphabet, Hangul.
Well, today is National Hangul Day, and the National Hangul Museum is celebrating its opening day after nearly 3 years of construction. Now, are there special events planned at the museum?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So today they will be hosting a few special events there, including a Hangul quiz where they'll be giving out Hangul-related prizes, and they also have a bus, a very popular bus with Hangul characters, and the ever so popular Tayo character will be featured on the bus as well. And this information you can find on their website.
All right, and the kids are going to love that, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Right, but this isn't exactly the first museum that's dedicated to Hangul, right?
Right, so they also have the TM Hangul Museum, which is located in Paju in Gyeonggi-do Province. And so that's another museum that features artwork along with a little bit of the history of the alphabet as well. And so whether it's in Seoul or in Paju, you really want to check out the Hangul alphabet today.
All right, well, thank you very much for that report.
You're very welcome.
And still ahead on Korea today, there's no place quite like it. We are talking about the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. And our Joey Mercadante is going to join us and take us on a trip down there through the DMZ train. Our travels begin at Baengmagoji Station, the northernmost stop on the Korean rails, and continue through the rest of Cheorwon in the Gangwon-do Province. That's coming up on Imagine Your Korea.
And before we get to that DMZ, let's go back to National Hangul Museum. Now, I believe that our Minjung is a Korean language major, and you definitely have to go check out this new place.
I will. I wanted to be the first one there, but our Chun Song-cho beat me to it. She is standing by at the National Hangul Museum. Let's go over to her right now and check out what this museum is all about. Over to you, Song-cho.
Good morning, guys. 안녕하세요. I'm reporting live from the National Hangul Museum, which was introduced earlier in the show. So today it has been 568 years since Joseon Dynasty's King Sejong created Hangul. Hangul is known as one of the greatest writing systems in the world because it's made after the shape of our lips, so anyone can easily learn it in a short period of time. So the reason why I'm here today is because I want to give you a basic idea of how to write Hangul. This section of the room provides different activities for tourists, foreigners, and kids to learn how to write Hangul. So you see all these Korean alphabets consisting of 14 consonants and 10 vowels. Here you see my name, Chun Song-cho. So some of my friends have told me that the Hangul writing looks like a bunch of boxes, but it's a lot easier to write than it may look, really. So let's give it a try. Enough with the talking. So first, let's try with the screen. All right, so I want to try writing a word namu, which means tree in English. So you just have to remember to write from top to bottom and from left to right. Just trace over the word that's given already on the screen. So first you start with the consonant mien, which makes a sound of n, and then a vowel a. So n, a, na together. Easy, right? And then the second letter miem, a consonant which makes a sound of m, and a vowel u. You start right there from top to bottom and from left to right. So this letter, it makes a sound of mu. So together, namu. That was easy, right? Okay, let's give it a try in a different way. So here on the screen, you see all these Korean alphabets floating around. You just pick a letter of your choice to place it in the middle to write a word that you want to write. So here, mok, it's already given. So it means neck in Korean. So I want to grab miem first, m, and a vowel o, great, right there, mo, and another consonant to place it right here, mo, mo. Okay, so that was neck in Korean, mok. Okay, so you were able to check out how to write Hangul with me today. If you're interested in learning and practicing it more, I recommend that you really come here and take your time to look around because you can learn the beauty of Hangul and also do some hands-on activities. Okay, so this is all for me now, and I'll be back later in the show to give you some weather updates.
Well, that was some great Korean language lesson right there.
Very easy and fun.
That's right.
Now, trending online on this day of Hangul is a dual language school opened just last month in the U.S. state of Minnesota.
That's right. And this school teaches in both Korean and English from kindergarten to grade 6, I believe. And our Sunm Up joins us in the studio to tell us all about it. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And the school has been getting a lot of attention lately because it's the very first Korean immersion school in the state of Minnesota. So the school is called Sejong Academy, and currently there's around 60 students from K to 6. And like other dual schools, it teaches all subjects, so math, science, history, music, everything 50-50, half in Korean and half in English. So in the end, the students become fluent in both languages, and they also get to learn about the Korean culture and history.
Right, and I believe that the Korean American students living in Minnesota, it would be a great opportunity for them to learn about their motherland and their heritage.
Yeah, and connect with their heritage. So it would be, the first, second, third generation immigrants, but it would also include the children who've been adopted from Korea, because Minnesota, it's actually known for having a lot of Korean adoptees. In fact, it actually has the highest concentration of Korean adoptees than any other U.S. state.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like we mentioned earlier on our show, the 5 of the Tayo buses in Seoul, they've been converted to Hangul buses for Hangul Day today, and it looks like this with Hangul characters. Isn't it cute? Now, next on entertainment front, Girls' Day, they've released a new album, and it's gaining a lot of buzz. Not because so much for its content, but for its format. So it doesn't come in your usual CD or a tape form, but this time it comes in a new format which is called a smart card album. So on the outside it looks like just your ordinary plastic card, but on the inside there's an NFC chip. So when you scan it with a smartphone or any other device that has NFC functions, it will automatically download the songs, the music videos, and photos to your device.
That. We wouldn't have to go over the hassle of buying a CD, ripping it off, and having to download it into our phone again.
So it's not only convenient, but then you still have something on your hand, something physical to say that you've bought it.
Interesting.
Now, speaking of funky technology, homegrown, this is another one that's pretty funky. It's like something from a sci-fi movie. It allows you to drive without using your hands or feet.
Wow.
Really?
So
Explain to us, because
the technology is called mind reading tire, and there are 3 parts to this technology. So first, there's a sensor that reads the brain waves, and then there's a central processor that converts these brain waves into an electric signal. The electric signals are then transmitted to these tires, which have a motor inside it. So
the tires are basically reading your mind.
Exactly.
And thinking, if you're thinking, okay, I want to turn left,
then it goes left.
But
wow.
What if I think I want to turn left, right, then
it goes left, right, left, right.
Well, you can't decide,
Yeah.
All right, interesting.
And if you guys wanted to try this, they actually are bringing the car to a shopping mall in Seoul for 1 day in November. So anyone can hop in, get geared up, the whole sensor and everything, and see if it really works.
Okay,
maybe we should try it out.
Give us the date later when you do know.
November.
First of November.
1st of November.
At
Okay, mark
IFC
your
Mall.
calendars. Okay. So interesting. Thank you, Misoran.
Thank you.
And still ahead on Korea Today, gliding on the waters without any power source but wind. Now, challenging wave conditions can't stop them. The 7th Korea Cup International Yacht Race is currently underway in waters off Korea's east coast. We'll take you to the very venue, so don't go away.
2 gold medals in dressage at the Incheon Asian Games. He's Korea's equestrian, Hwang Young-sik.
안녕하세요.
안녕하십니까.
Now, first off, congratulations on your 2 gold medals that you were able to win at the Incheon Asian Games. Tell us what it's like to be a gold medalist.
4년 전에 있었던 광저우 아시안 게임에 이어 이제 인천 아시안 게임에서도 이제 좋은 성적 낼 수 있어서 굉장히 기분 좋고요. 그리고 이제 저를 도와주신 모든 분들과 또 저를 위해 열심히 뛰어준 제 펄슨버그한테도 굉장히 고맙다는 얘기, 감사하다는 말씀 드리고 싶고요.
Now, I know you won the gold medal over in Gwangju, just like you mentioned, but at the same time, it must have been more special having to win a gold medal here in Korea. Was it more nervous? Was it more special?
아무래도 한국에서 금메달을 따는 게 저한테는 조금 더 인상 깊을 수 있으니까 그리고 또 뭐 긴장이 됐다기보다는 이 한국에서 하는 시합이든 외국에서 하는 시합이든 이제 국가대표 마크를 달고 가는 시합이기 때문에 이제 준비 기간을 굉장히 길게 잡았어요. 그래서 이번에 좋은 말도 만났고 해서 딱히 그렇게 긴장은 안 됐지만 그래도 중요한 시합인 만큼 이제 열심히 노력했던 것 같아요.
Now, when it comes to equestrians, there's several categories, different events that do take place, and the competition that you're a part of is dressage. Tell us what dressage is.
마장마술이라는 종목은 20m에 60m, 가로 20m에 세로 60m의 직사각형 시합장 안에서 이제 저희가 규정에 맞는 그 연기를 펼치는 종목이고요. 그러니까 쉽게 설명을 드리면 김연아 선수가 이제 모래판 위에서 말이랑 같이 이제 경기를 하는 연기를 펼치는 이제 그런 종목이죠.
Now, just like you mentioned, it's kind of like figure skater Kim Yeon-ah being on I guess, the ground and performing. At the same time, because dressage is considered the figure skating of equestrian, there must be that special relationship you must have with a horse then, right?
운동 경기 중에 이제 유일하게 살아있는 동물이랑 함께하는 스포츠이기 때문에 선수만 잘한다 그래서 되는 것도 아니고 말만 좋다고 해서 되는 것도 아니고 이제 말과 선수가 하나가 돼서 좋은 연기를 펼쳐야 되는 거거든요. 그래서 이제 저희 같은 경우에는 굉장히 준비 기간이 길고 또 사람은 오래 살 수 있지만 말은 또 오래 살지 못하는 동물이기 때문에 그리고 선수 생활도 사람은 길지만 말들은 오래 할 수 없기 때문에 이제 그 말들과 호흡을 맞추는 시간이 굉장히 길지만 이제 호흡을 맞춰가면서 이제 그 말이 최고로 할 수 있는 것 그리고 또 사람이 최고로 할 수 있는 걸 이제 서로 윈윈 하는 거죠. 이제 굉장히 중요한 것 같아요, 이 릴레이션십이.
Now, the Asian Games is done with. What is your next goal, I guess, in equestrian now?
운동선수의 마지막이라고 하면 이제 올림픽이겠죠. 근데 아직까지 저희 한국이 또 아시아가 이제 유럽 무대 또 해외 무대에서는 굉장히 아직까지는 약해요. 그래서 기회가 된다면 또 누군가의 도움을 받을 수 있다면 제가 이제 올림픽까지 한번 준비를 해보는 게 제 목표고요.
Now, finally, one last thing. Can you say something to your fans out there who have been rooting for you and also our viewers here on Korea Today as well?
이 승마가 비인기 종목이고 또 이제 많은 분들이 생각을 하시기에 이 승마는 돈 없으면 못한다 또 귀족 스포츠라 편안하게 다가갈 수 없다라고 생각하시는 분들이 굉장히 많은 것 같아요. 근데 그게 너무 안타까운 것 같아요. 그러니까 돈이 많아서 운동을 한다기보다는 이제 열심히 하다 보면 이제 좋은 스폰서들이 이제 많이 생길 수 있거든요. 그러니까 또 어느 운동이나 마찬가지로 돈이 굉장히 많이 든다고 저는 생각을 하지만 이제 만약에 열심히 하고 좋은 모습 보여드리면 저희가 계속 이제 언젠가는 바뀌지 않을까. 그러니까 앞으로도 이 승마 종목 많이 사랑해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
Once again, congratulations to you on your 2 gold medals at the Incheon Asian Games, and hopefully we'll be able to see you at the Olympics.
감사합니다.
And once again, that was our Incheon gold medalist in dressage. Once again, our athlete Hwang Young-sik joining us here on Korea Today.
on the subject of Asian Games, in the Asian Games that recently ended, the Korean national yacht team won 4 golds, 1 silver, and 1 bronze medal.
That's right, pretty impressive. And right now, the 7th Korea Cup International Yacht Race is underway in the East Sea.
Right, many Korean and foreign athletes are participating in the competition. Let's go yachting now.
All right.
The 7th Korea Cup International Yacht Race was held on Friday at Huppohang Harbor in Uljin Gyeongsangbuk-do Province and around Dokdo Island. The yacht race was first held in 2008. It features competent athletes and tests their yachting skills on the Blue East Sea.
The 3rd time I'm joining this regatta. It's the 4th time that the boat is joining. The last few years we made some mistakes, so we're going to try to not make those same mistakes again. I hope nobody's boat breaks and nobody get hurt and everybody can finish safely.
YouTube fighting! Yeah!
United! The sailing route starts and ends at Uljin. Athletes pass by Ulleng-do and Dokdo Islands on their way to the finish and back to the start. The total distance is 470 kilometers and will take over 50 hours to complete. The inshore race takes place on the sea near Huppohang Harbor and Dokdo Island. The first leg of the offshore race is from Huppohang Harbor to Ulleng-do Island, and the second leg of the race is from Dokdo Island to Huppohang Harbor. The sailing route is called Sutosha, which public officials back during the Joseon Dynasty took to supervise Ulleng-do and Dokdo Islands. This is why having a yacht race near Dokdo Island has great historical significance. A ritual ceremony which dates from the Joseon Dynasty was held before the yacht race officially kicked off. It was to pray for nice weather and the athletes' safe voyage.
We used to go by water on a sailing boat to reach Dokdo, and this ritual was performed to pray for no wind and waves on the way to Dokdo. But today, the ritual is for a safe and sound yacht race.
The yacht race is operated in cooperation with the Korea Coast Guard and the Korean Navy. Each competing yacht has its own GPS device installed, so the satellite can keep track of the vessel locations. A total of 170 athletes and 21 boats from 14 different countries are participating in the race this year.
I would think so. It's my first time here in Korea, so I'm very excited to go out on the East Sea and sail here for the first time. And it's, so far it's looking like it's going to be a great event. We've got some great wind today, and hopefully we'll be able to get a race off.
We live in the forest of Russia, Vladivostok, and we are so close from the Korea, and we know this area very well. We know that geographically, politically, everything. Yeah, don't worry, we know.
The main competition is the offshore race, which takes place on the open sea far from the shore. Boats leave from one spot and make their finish at another. On the first day, the Uljin inshore race took place. Each boat is timed on how long it takes to pass a floating buoy and come back to the point of departure.
10분 후 출발! 빨리 준비하세요!
The straight line distance is 470 kilometers, and the sailing distance is 1,200 kilometers. This is why the boat's size must be over 10 meters, and over 5 people have to be on board. Strong winds blew during the Uljin inshore competition. Team Cheorwon took 5th place after roughly 2 hours of sailing.
Days without wind are actually tougher for sailing because the boat won't glide. You should enjoy the wind. There's actually nothing blocking your view on the waters, so the yacht race really helps you refresh your mind.
A celebratory dinner and award ceremony followed the first day of the Uljin inshore race. A Russian sailing team, Tiburon, made its first finish.
Very awesome, and this is not for the first time. And every autumn we come Korea and race because it's very nice, and we and all our crew very awesome, and this city and this race.
I hope the second one and the amount will be more higher. And it should to be here number one. Nice day, good party, good concert. Thank you very much.
The competition will run until the 10th of October. Athletes will take a break for a day and continue sailing on the 9th and the 10th near Dokdo Island. A 230-kilometer-long offshore race and 8-kilometer inshore race will be held on each day.
The Korea Cup is held to promote Dokdo Island and provide a venue for yacht enthusiasts around the world to bond and learn from each other. I hope participants from all over the world will sail by Dokdo and take the chance to explore the beauty of the island.
The race doesn't just promote the domestic marine sports industry, but also has a diplomatic effect by emphasizing Korea's sovereignty over Dokdo Island. We wish for all the athletes to compete well until the last day.
All right, now we're going to take you to the demilitarized zone. It's a popular destination among foreign tourists in Korea.
Yep, and our Joey Mercadante had a trip there and is here to tell us more on that. Good morning and happy Hangul Day.
Good morning, happy Hangul Day. Yeah.
Do you want to try Kanadara Mabasa?
No.
You should.
Kanadara Mabasa.
I'll pass for now.
Okay, all right, okay. After the show.
Yeah, because the report is just so great, we should just get right to it.
Sure.
Nice try.
On the weekend, I visited the security sightseeing course, and this is one of the most popular ones in all of Korea. It averages about 300 people per day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been to the DMZ before, but this experience was quite different. It was a very eye-opening experience, so I can't wait to share this with you. So let's have a look. Over 60 years ago, the Korean War was put to a halt and the peninsula was divided into two, separated by the DMZ. Though a reminder of a painful past, the DMZ is also home to one of the world's most unique natural ecosystems, and that natural beauty extends to areas along the DMZ. Today we'll visit one such location, Cheorwon in Gangwon-do Province. Our travel starts today at Cheongnyangmi Station in Seoul.
This station has trains that will take you everywhere. And today, my destination is the DMZ. I can't wait to get started. It's going to be a great day.
We're taking Korail's DMZ train for peace, the only train allowed access to civilian restricted areas.
백마고지역 가고 싶어요.
백마고지는 하루에 한 대 있으세요. 가시는 거 아침에 9시 52분 차시고.
The DMZ train had a popular course that ran on the Gyeonggi-sun railway line through Paju in the Gyeonggi-do Province. The positive response to that course led to the opening of the course along the Gyeongwon-sun line in this past August. It leaves from Seoul and heads eastwards towards Cheorwon in the Gangwon-do Province, where Korea's northernmost Baengmagoji Station is located. The DMZ train is only 3 carriages long, but those 3 carriages are packed with photos and messages wishing for reunification and peace. There are also spaces for personal postcards from the passengers of the DMZ train. I think I've got a couple up there now.
Very colorful, I must say.
If you travel to a location where war had broken out many years ago, it fills you with a deeper love for your country.
In the snack car, there are souvenirs and food products that stay true to the theme of the DMZ train, like military packed rations.
Mm.
You know what? This is surprisingly very good for such a small little instant sort of meal. And it's the perfect thing to eat on a train ride up to the DMZ. It's just amazing.
Now, about 2 hours since we left from Cheorwon Station, we reached the end of the line, Baengmagoji Station. After the Korean War, this station had been cut off, but it was newly opened and a highly sought destination for displaced people as well as tourists. There's always talk about peace and reconnecting, and you see that with this message right here. We want to be back on track. The train ends here, but one day I hope it reconnects and leads back into North Korea, and there's free travel between both parts of Korea. The DMZ's train Baengmagoji Station is where the Cheorwon security tour begins. This tour is by bus, complete with a very knowledgeable tour guide who tells you about Cheorwon's past while pointing out various sightseeing locations. There is a lot to see on the security tour through Cheorwon. The first stop, the House of Labor Party ruins, the only North Korean structure in the south. The House of Labor Party is a 3-story building at Cheorwon, which was constructed in 1946 and used as the Workers' Party headquarters until the break of the Korean War. It was also supposedly the location where anti-communists were tortured. Only the ruins remain today, but there are clear indications of the battle that occurred there.
If the walls could talk.
As you go around the back, you can see the damage and stuff from the artillery, from bombs, and from shooting as well. So the write-up on it, it was also used almost for torture.
Those are bullet
Very
holes.
brutal.
They are, yes.
So, and you could see that from the back.
Next on the security sightseeing tour was a top-secret location in Cheorwon, the Myeolgong OP, which was used to keep eyes on the demilitarized zone and other areas across the border in North Korea. If you climb to the top, you can see along the Hantangang River and even into a village into the north. You're so close to the north, it feels like you could reach out and touch the other side. And the neighboring security location is the Mount Kumgang Railway Bridge. This bridge is part of a railway that connected Cheorwon Station and Naekumgang Station, or should I say Korea's first electric railway. Made into a walkway now, the bridge gives you a great view of Hantangang River. Unspoiled nature, like these trees and the water and the mountain, it's just gorgeous, just beautiful. It's such a shame that it's divided. There has to be this division between the north and the south. Getting back on track, the security sightseeing tour's next stop is Uljin Station. Uljin Station is known as the last stop before reaching the DMZ. Behind this station is an old wreckage of a train which had made frequent trips into the north before getting destroyed in a bombing during the Korean War. The last stop on the Cheorwon security course is the final destination, Baengmagoji Battlefield, the site of one of the fiercest battles during the Korean War. During the 9-day battle here, the bloodshed was intense, with more than 300,000 bombs hitting this ridge, changing its shape forever. Now, in memory of those who lost their lives at Baengmagoji Battle, a memorial tower was erected here, along with a memorial hall and monument. Traveling to the DMZ, a great experience because you get so much information, you learn so much history, you will never really understand unless you come here for yourself. So do it because it is something that will stay with you forever.
You know, I have seen some of those areas, taking a visit to Baengmagoji as well, and you know, you see these areas and you see the actual artifacts, the buildings, and you know, everything that was there, and you really get a sense of exactly what happened. But you know, you never, as you mentioned, only if these walls could talk, right? But you've been to the DMZ before in other tours, right? What made this one an eye-opener for you?
Well, the Cheorwon visit is definitely different because there are still remnants of the war. You know, there's the battle scars on the building, the bullet holes, as we mentioned, the torn down walls. And the tourist in the report also mentioned this. He felt the same thing. Yeah. You know, you can still feel the pain, the horror. It's still very evident there.
And you're so close to North Korea, like you mentioned in the report.
Yeah.
And then you can almost feel the tension.
That's right.
And then the past, the history of it all.
Definitely, it's heart-wrenching and eye-opening at the same time. So if you'd like to do something like this, the only one thing you've got to remember is that you're going to need a valid ID. Okay, so make sure you bring ID with you because it's the demilitarized zone, so you need it.
And Cheorwon is also well known for, as you mentioned, its untouched nature and its beautiful scenery. Are there any other kind of sightseeing programs at the place?
Yes, Cheorwon is just this pristine, beautiful, it's surrounded by beautiful nature, and there are a few other places. There's the Kosokjeong Pavilion, which is located off the Hantangang River. Now it's on a higher terrain, so you get an amazing view of the river. And then there's the Seongil-gyo Bridge. Now if you look at it closely, you'll see that one half is built differently from the other. And that's because either North Korea started building it before the war and the South Koreans finished it, or the Japanese started building it before liberation and the US finished it so they could transport men back and forth. Now, all of these main spots are stops on the Cheorwon City Tour. And if you'd like more information on the tour, just visit the Cheorwon County website.
And let's talk about the DMZ train. It has access to areas that are otherwise restricted for civilians, right? So that's why this train is very popular among tourists. And you can enjoy some food on the train as well.
You can. So I mentioned that it was like surprisingly good, the military rations, and they really are.
Was it bibimbap?
It's bibimbap, yes. So here's my personal recommendation. If you're gonna have one, choose the curry. I think the curry ration was the best one. I had both, and the curry was by far more, you know, my style of meal. Also, they have these great cookies. In English, they're called hardtack, and
called konbang in Korean.
Konbang, yes,
right.
And it's just a very simple, you know, biscuit, but inside they have like these sweet sugary candies that you eat together. Now I didn't know that. You know, the first time I'd eaten them separately, and this time I actually did it right, and I combined the two, and it was.
Okay, enough
sorry
about
to
food.
cut you off there. We're getting a little bit too hungry. Tell us some of the other things that you might recommend to your friends once they come here.
When it comes to train tours?
Okay, so you know how like Europe has the Eurail pass and Japan has the JR pass? Well, now Korea has the KR pass. Okay? Now what this is it allows you to have unlimited coach traveling on these trains. For the limited time. You know, if you buy a month pass, then it's for the month. Okay. And it's only for foreigners, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for if you're a
service and an advantage if you're a foreigner and if you're visiting, you're getting the KR pass.
And another really great thing is that you get other benefits as well, like 10 to 50% discounts on rental cars, restaurants, and other tourist attractions.
All right. Thank you so much, Joey.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
All right, well, this is where we say goodbye on this Thursday morning.
And Hangul Day morning. If you do have time and if you are in Seoul or other parts of Korea, you can check out some of the festivities and the events that are going on. Thank you for joining us.
Happy Hangul Day.